I'll be your huckleberry. I'll be your dark and scary. I'll be your man of the hour, Mr. Churchstone Sour.
What up, y'all? Hey, apologize for not being on for a while or not having a video uploaded. Been kind of busy, been a little stressed out, but I'm getting things done. Had to come and get some papers notarized and get some other personal shit done. Something else is, I also gave myself a haircut the other day. Nice and cool, sweaty, but I'm going to do a video here in a little bit, and I'm going to show you guys. I think I know I touched on this on a previous video, but I'm actually going to walk around my RV and show you guys what to look for when you're going to look for an RV. So you guys stay tuned, and y'all be good. You never know what's going to happen next. Alright, y'all, I'm back. I'm going to turn this camera around. We're going to get started. It may take a few minutes to go through this, but I'm going to try to go through it. And if there's any questions afterwards, please do not hesitate to ask, because I don't want you guys making the same mistakes I did. Okay, so we have my RV. Number one, you want to make sure to look at the awning to see what kind of condition it's in. Mine was in good condition when I bought it, so it's just wear and tear. It's normal wear and tear. Another thing you want to look at, and I know this is going to sound nuts, but you want to look at these seals around the window. What I mean is like right here and here, because you want to find out how much these things have shrunk. And if they've shrunk, that means that they need to be resealed or they need to be replaced. You also want to look around the door trim on the inside. That's something I didn't do, and I ended up having to replace the seal around my door. You want to go around the windows. On tires, you want to look for cracks. You want to look for weather crack or weathering on the tires, and you want to find out from the date. There's a date on there. You can look them up and you can find out how old the tires are. You don't want your tires being old, and you also want to keep covers on them in the summertime to keep the UV rays off of them. I can tell you that for a fucking fact. You also want to check out your jacks to make sure all your jacks are good. You want to check out your seals around your storage bins. You want to check your seals around your edges. You want to look for weather cracks. You want to make sure that the jack works pretty good. Mine is kind of fucked up because this thing right here comes out, so I have to hold it in when I'm adjusting it. I have all that unhooked. Down here, you definitely want to look at your wires. You want to look at your gas lines. You want to look at your propane line to make sure that your propane line is not cracked or anything. You want to look at everything. I've had to redo all these. So all these right here have all been redone. And all I did was just use silicone on them. They're dirty as hell right now. But you want to make sure that you do this. You walk around it. You want to look. When I bought mine, mine had damage on it. And I don't know if you guys can see that because all I can see is the glare. But that was damage that was on mine when I got it. And if you can see up at the drip rail, there is damage on the drip rail also. So they had fixed that. Here's one that was in the side of it that I ended up having to fix again, because that is a hole. That literally is actually a hole that's in there. So you want to look at that. You want to look at everything. You want to look at your piping. I have to dump my sewer tank while I'm out here, which you guys really wanted to know that, didn't you? So, but you guys want to keep an eye on everything. You want to look at everything there is. You want to find out if, and I got dogs pissing all over my fucking wheels. You want to look what kind of condition it is. You want to look for rust. You want to look for screws that have rust on them. Like that one down there, the head of the screw has rust on it. You definitely want to look at all that. I've actually had to repair that fender. It was all the way cracked, all the way from the front side all the way to the back side, and I retaped it and refixed it. It was a bitch to do, but I got it done. Okay, I think this is done. You also want to look at the condition of your spare tire. Man, I've got a lot of bird poop on my rig. I didn't realize how much bird poop I had on it. There's a lot of bird poop. But you definitely want to look at the spare tire. You want to look at the bumper. I have no more caps on mine. My caps are missing now. You want to check and see how good the power cord, what kind of shape it's in. Make sure it's in good shape. And make sure you have a good water hose. And now we will go on the inside and we will gander at that. Alright y'all, we're on the inside. It's already about 101. The air conditioner is on now. I'm sweating my ass off. But when you come in here, I'm going to point out this. You want to go up in the corners. You want to go inside the cabinets and you want to press on these walls. You want to press on the walls in all four corners of the RV. But also you want to look for discoloration. There was not any discoloration in here except for in the back where I found that big leak at. But what you want to do is you want to take your hands and you want to just kind of, you want to beat on it. And trust me, there's a difference. When you hear a crack sound, like it sounds like shredded wood, like what I'm dealing with up in the corner, right up in here, it's from like the bottom of that cabinet, like right about here, and it's down. That whole corner is just rotted out. And there's no way I'm going to open it up to try to redo it, because if I do, it's going to cost me at least $2,000 to $3,000 just to redo that corner, and I'm not doing it. But you want to go around that. You also want to look around the windows. Mine are really, really dirty right now, but when I got it, they were really clean. You want to look for any spots, and you also want to look for drips on the wall, like behind. You want to see if there's any discoloration or any kind of water droplets behind there. That will let you know if there has been water damage. Now, I will tell you, since these things are made cheap, I don't know if you guys can see that on video, but that thing wiggles back and forth, and that's only because it's made really, excuse me, these things are made really shoddy. But you want to look at everything. You want to look at the bathroom. You want to go underneath your kitchen cabinets. And I'm sorry for my house being a mess right now. Everything's a mess. I went and got groceries, and I got up this morning, had to go do that stuff, so everything's kind of just a shoddy mess right now. And I apologize for the noise, but I had to sit down underneath the air conditioner for a few minutes. I don't know if y'all can see that, but my head is like dripping with sweat. So when you guys go to buy an RV, you definitely want to ask them straight out. I want to see everything work. You want to see the refrigerator work. You want to see the stove work. You want to see the water pump work. You want to see everything work. This is something I didn't do. On this one, I got lucky because my fridge works, my stove still works, my water pump works, my hot water tank works, the furnace even works, which I didn't think it did at first. But you always want to check everything to make sure everything works. You always want to check around all the windows. You want to do the push test. You always want to push against the wall. And trust me, it will sound like shredded wheat when you crunch it. You'll hear that crunchy sound. When you hear that sound, that means there's rot in the wall. If there's any discoloration, you always want to look at the ceiling too to see if there's any discoloration on the ceiling. If there's any kind of discoloration, that means there was water damage, or water had actually made its way through the top of the roof. So you want to make sure you get all that stuff, and you want to look at it very closely, because if you don't, that's going to be an added expense later on down the road. And if you don't get it taken care of by the dealership or whatever, if you're buying it from a private owner, that'll give you some wiggle room on negotiating the price. So, for example, say they're asking $5,000 for an RV. You go in this RV and then you find that there is water spots. There's a place that's really soft. When you press your hand against it, you will find that it crunches. So it means that whole wall is water damage. That means it's going to have to be fixed. Mine has to be fixed, but I'm not touching it. I'm not going to do it, because I know if I break into it, it's going to cost me an arm and a leg, because I'm going to have to pull the whole front of the RV off, the whole front sheeting. I'm going to have to pull all that off. I'm going to have to pull half of the side off. So I'm going to have to go past the window of the bedroom. I'm going to have to pull all that off, and I'm going to have to replace it all. That is a lot of freaking work. A lot of work. And it's going to take a lot of time and a lot of money to do that. That is something I'm not willing to do, because my body is just not going to be able to handle it anymore. So when you get one, you want to look at all these things. You want to look If there's records on the RV, that's even better. That means that somebody has actually taken the time and the effort to take care of this thing like it needs to be. Mine, I don't have any records for it. I've just had to buy shit as I go. But this is a 2004. So it's not going to be worth much, but I know everything works in it, you know. I have no problem with any of the plugs. That's another thing you want to check to make sure all the plugs and outlets work. If it has any 12-volt plugs in it, you want to look at those. The more the better. If not, then you can add some in. I've added 1, 2, 3, 4. I've added 4 12-volt outlets in here, which 2 of them were cigarette lighters, and 1 was a cigarette lighter with a with a USB. So that was, but they were 2 separate. They were together, but they were separate. They had to be wired up separate. They weren't. You could not wire them together. So in fact, there's 3 new ones in here, but there's actually 4 because the 2 are wired separately together in the same kit. Anyway, so you want to look at all that. You want to get, even if it has a bunkhouse, you want to get on the bed and you want to push against the walls. You want to push against the ceiling. You want to find out if there's any soft spots. If you find any soft spots, that's negotiating room for you. And especially if they didn't tell you about it when you went to look at it. Another thing is you want to look at the cabinet space. The one thing I hate about mine is my pantry cabinet, because it's about this wide and about freaking that long. So literally I can stick my arm all the way in through my pantry, but it's only about, it's only about that wide. It's about a foot wide. I don't like it. So I know the next one I get is going to have a better pantry that's going to be a lot better than that. I don't like those deep ones. If it had the little rail system that you could pull them out and it has everything on rails, that would be awesome. But it doesn't have that. So, but I can deal with it. It's no big deal. You also want to look at the undercarriage to see if it's fully enclosed. And you want to find out if there's any rips in the enclosed area. And if there is, and it looks like it's been duct taped or someone's tried to repair it, you want to ask questions. Why has this been done like this? Because I'm sure they can contact the old owners that brought it in and find out, hey, the people that are looking at this want to know why why this on the bottom side has been resealed. Was there a problem with it? You can never ask too many questions, and if somebody gets mad at you for asking too many questions, that means they have something to hide. So you want to ask questions, and always ask questions. So as far as that's what I have for today. I hope this has helped. If you guys have any questions, please leave them in the comment section below, and I'd be happy to answer them. And if not, I'm sure there's going to be other people that will respond, that will they'll know answers to things. And if I don't know the answer, I'll be honest with you and tell you I do not know. But I just don't want you guys making the same mistakes I made when I went and got this one. I should have went around, but at the time I didn't know it, and hindsight's 20/20. So if I would have known then what I know now, I would have walked all the way around it, and I would have done the research on it, and actually walked around the whole thing looking for the soft spots, and I didn't do it. So that's my fault, But if I can help one person keep from making the same mistake I did, then that's what I want to do. So I'm going to get off of here now. I have a lot of cleaning to do, and I've got to get some shit cleaned up around here. Y'all have a great day. I love you all. Be kind to one another, love one another, and live life to the fullest. Because tomorrow's not promised, and always remember, Puddin' 2020. And y'all take care. God bless each and every one of you, and I love you to death. See you in the next clip, or the next video, whichever happens. Well, I was going to leave my hat on, but you can't see my eyes with that. So, welcome to today's story time. This story happened back in the early 90s, and it's God's honest truth. I was a sanitation engineer, or layman's term, I was a garbage man. And I had a route every Wednesday in Dallas, Georgia, that I had a loop that I did in a neighborhood, but the houses were probably at least a mile or two away from each other anyway. It was a giant loop that I had to do. Anyway, one of the last houses on this loop, I noticed that, you know, I'd see the lady every now and then. I'd never seen her husband or anything like that, but she had asked me one day, she goes, I got a couple mattresses that I need to have taken out of here, and I want to know what you're going to charge me to take them out. Well, I said, it's $10 a mattress. And so it was like, okay. And I said, but I can't get them this week. I said, are you okay if I pick them up next week? She's like, yeah, that's totally fine. So I come back the following week, and I made sure that that was the first trip I did, because if you put the mattresses on, I was loading them up in a pickup truck. And my line of thinking is, you put those on the bottom, you tie a rope to them, you pull them out, all the garbage comes with it. Well, at least most of the garbage does. So I wanted to make that my first stop of the day. So there was a note on the door that said, when I'm done, to come in and she'd give me the money. So I had got both the mattresses loaded up, took my gloves off, and walked into the door and knocked on the door, and nobody answered. And I'm like yelling, hello, hello, is anybody here? And I hear this very faint, I'm upstairs, second door, I think it was like first door or second door on the right, I think, or something like that. I'm like, are you sure it's okay for me to come in? Yeah, come on in. So I go in the house. I'm freaking out because I'm like, oh my God, this lady's going to freaking kill me, or, you know, she's going to have someone in there and they're going to fucking stab me to death, and I'm not going to come out of this. And as you can tell, that did not happen. But so I walk upstairs and I'm like, hello, and she's like, I'm in the bedroom, you can come in here. And I'm like, I'm really, in my mind, I'm freaking out, because I'm thinking something bad's gonna happen to me. And I'm like, this is crazy. So I went, she said it was like, I want to say she said it was the second door on the right. It's been so damn long ago, I can't remember. But anyway, so I opened the door to the bedroom. Needless to say, I'm there. My jaw is on the floor. She is in black lingerie with a sheer, like, thing over the top of it, with black panties, a black bra, and all this other shit. And I'm just kind of like, what the fuck? You know, this... What in the world? And I'm telling you what, this woman, I was about 22 or 23, and she had to have been in upper or mid 40s at that time. I'm telling you what, she looked hot. And she goes, so do you like what you see? And I'm like, yeah. And she goes, so do you want some? And at first it didn't dawn on me, and I'm like, excuse me? The reason why I'm telling you this, she had found out that her husband had been cheating on her with his secretary in Atlanta. Don't know how she found out. I think she found out through a friend. She said that she had had a friend of hers that lived in Atlanta follow him. He was supposed to go on a business trip, and she followed him, and he went to her house, this other lady's house, and her friend followed him over there, and he didn't come out. And it was the entire weekend. And when she called him, after her friend called, she called and said, hey, how's the business meeting going? Oh, it's going good. It's the same old business meeting. And he was literally lying to her. So that's where I come into play. I was her little secret, which I didn't mind. She taught me some things that I never thought I would ever learn in my entire life, but she taught me a lot of things. A lot of good things. A lot of good things that I still use now today. But this affair went on for a year before I ended up leaving Georgia. Yep. No kidding. So that's my story for the day. This really happened. It's a crazy, fucked up world. But yeah, some of these stories I have, you guys are going to think, no, this ain't true. Everything I'm telling you is the God's honest truth. This shit has happened to me. Everything. So these stories might sound far-fetched, but you know what? I still think there's some of them are far-fetched, because it's hard to believe they actually happened. So, and I have some, I don't know if you guys know, but I used to work for Rusty Wallace in NASCAR. Oh, I have some stories to tell you from that. Holy shit, do I have some stories to tell you from that. I'll put it this way. These stories, I've never seen so much tit and ass in my life until I drove that show car for Rusty Wallace. You just do not realize how many men want to be you and how many women want to you. And it's not a joke. I'm not saying that to be, you know, like blowing my head up or anything. I'm not the best looking guy in the world. But when you have a $300,000 race car, you have Miller Lite all over the rig you're driving, you become somewhat of a celebrity. And people were wanting my autograph. I'm not kidding, even though I just did a show car. So yeah, some of these stories in the future that I'm going to be telling, you guys are just going to be like, wow. And the reason why I'm telling these stories, my friend Lisa, or AKA Whoa, I've told her about 90% of all these stories that I'm going to be telling you, and she keeps telling me, you need to write a book. She goes, your life has been like 3 lives over of what a normal person lives. She goes, the shit you've seen, the shit you've been through, and the things that you've done, she goes, it would make a killer story. I just figured I'd share some of the stories on here. Hope you guys like them. If not, sorry. Anyway, y'all, I love you to death. Y'all be good. Love one another. Be kind to one another. Live life to the fullest because tomorrow's not promised. And always remember, pudding 2020. So, God bless each and every one of you, and I love you to death. Have a good day.
So put your drinks up for the weekend, cause them work days sure been creeping. What's up? Is anybody gonna get tore up?